Reconstruction period that followed America's Civil War was one of the worst, most violent eras in American history. During that time, thousands of African Americans were killed by domestic terrorists like the Ku Klux Klan, who tried to reinforce antebellum policies of white supremacy. For many historians, one of the worst examples of this violence occurred 148 years ago, the Colfax Massacre of 1873. This was the bloodiest single instance of racial carnage in the Reconstruction era. After this message, we'll go into more details. I want to talk a little bit about a new affiliate, Nagast Footwear. They are a Black-owned company that makes some of the best quality shoes, clothes, and hats that I've seen in a very long time. They are designed to empower customers and to teach self-love, self-respect, and self-confidence. I've purchased some of their footwear, and they have lasted me well over a year. Nagast Footwear makes sneakers, running shoes, slippers, boots, hats, and clothing. I love my slippers. I love my sneakers. Even game show contestants love my sneakers. Click my affiliate link below to visit their site, to browse, and to shop. Every purchase helps me grow this platform. Immediately after the end of the Civil War, different factions began fighting over power. Bitter over the Confederacy's loss, many white Southern Democrats tried their best to continue disenfranchising and restricting the rights of former slaves. At the same time, insurgent white supremacist groups terrorized African Americans throughout the South. In Louisiana, the fight over the post-war government was particularly bloody. Simmering resentments between Southern Democrats, most former slave owners, and the Republican-dominated federal government exploded in the 1872 election for Louisiana's governor. Colfax Parish reflected the political and racial divide in Louisiana. Its 4,600 voters in the 1872 election were split between approximately 2,400 mostly Black Republican voters and 2,200 white Democrat voters. When President Ulysses S. Grant sent federal troops to support the Republican candidate, white Southerners rebelled and formed a heavily armed insurgent army called the White League. Like the Ku Klux Klan, the White League was a parliamentary group that intimidated and attacked blacks and white Republicans. On April 13, Easter Sunday, more than 300 armed white men, including white supremacist organizations such as the Knights of the White Camellia and the Ku Klux Klan, attacked the courthouse building. When the militia maneuvered a cannon to fire on the courthouse, some of the 60 black defenders fled while others surrendered. When the leader of the attackers, James Hadnot, was accidentally shot by one of his own men, the white militia responded by shooting the black prisoners. Those who were wounded in the earlier battle, particularly black militia members, were singled out for execution. The indiscriminate killing spread to African Americans who had not even been at the courthouse and continued into the night. All told, approximately 150 African Americans were killed, including 48 who were murdered after the battle. Only 3 whites were killed, and few were injured in the largely one-sided Battle of Colfax. So let's pause for a moment. I want you to think about this. We are often told to get over it when we talk about what happened during slavery and the history of black treatment in America. However, if you think about the total number of black people who have been killed during all of these massacres throughout history, and the total number that has been killed since, there's no telling how many of us have been directly impacted by America's race hate. Large amounts of our family trees have simply been wiped out because ignorance was and still is the number one priority in the United States. Anyways, a total of 97 white militiamen were arrested and charged with violation of the U.S. Enforcement Act of 1870, also known as the Ku Klux Klan Act. A handful of them was convicted but were eventually released in 1875 when the U.S. Supreme Court in United States v. Cruikshank ruled the Enforcement Act was unconstitutional. No one was ever arrested by the state of Louisiana or by intimidated local officials. So basically, there's our blueprint for what's happening today.